See if a few people jump up in here and go ahead and let it load up a bit. Looks like I don't have anybody jumping on just yet. Well, we'll just go ahead and move on. Someone jumped in there. Move forward here. Who we have? Who do we have? Who do we have up in here? Say hello if you're from Facebook or YouTube. Say hello. I am 123, and we're gonna look at my ugly truck and the things I changed to make this thing so much better, and it runs very, very well now. I'm very happy with it. I think I have everything done. I just got to do an oil change. I have to look at a connection point on the knock sensor and my transmission itself, because it has a glitch when it gets into overdrive. So I see quite a few YouTubers in here. What's going on, Batman 18? So I worked really hard. You all saw me work on this truck. I think it's been a good 8 months. A lot of it happened under the hood, and then I had other things happen. So over the course of time, you change stuff and you put things together and so forth. Yoga mats are a great thing. I got enough room to do yoga in here. You know, I am homeless. I'm a crackhead from New Jersey. I'm homeless. So I went to Walmart and I got a nice yoga mat. These things are awesome. The kneel on are good for you. So kind of regular business here. I run studs on my system. Now I did add a 12-volt service coming in off the battery that runs off my inverter. It runs on the stock side of the system, just in case my other system goes down. So I have a default system that way. What's going on, 2 watt, Chicago? So as everyone knows, I run an inverter with switching power supplies in here. And so I take it 12-volt DC to 120 volts AC, back to 12, 15 volts, up to 16 volts DC, but it's sine wave. And sine wave seems to work really well with the radios and drivers. Unfortunately, I don't have a big enough power supply or inverter to run a power supply to run sine wave on my big box, but I do have the 3JS alternators under the hood, and we'll get to that in a second. So what I did the other day, as you guys all saw, I had my truck tore apart. Didn't much care about the top. You know, I took the grinder and cleaned it all off, and obviously it's already starting to rust because it was open. But that said, here's a plate here, there's a puck mount here, there's another plate on the underside, because I had to cover up a lot of the bad decision holes that someone else had made. So when I do that, I don't take and put silicone on the bottom side of these plates or my puck. I do dielectric grease or anti-oxguard grease. Let me see if I have a can of that here. Thing. Saw it. Here it is. I have to open these anyway. So this is your friend on every aspect of your vehicle, for your base station and your vehicle. So you can take and put this stuff all up in here on your shafts, on your stingers tips, on the hardware, anything exposed down here. You can tell when they start getting dry. That was actually loose. You just put this on there, and a little bit goes a long ways. So what I did was I squirted it out around the plate. I took my finger, have napkins or a rag nearby, because that's some gooey, sticky stuff. Wipe it and get it thoroughly all the way around the plate, and more is not better. So when you do your plates on your vehicles, you mock everything up, you dry fit everything, you put all the bolts in, you make sure everything lines up. So you're not going to have to go back after you greased everything and try to re-drill a hole, because that's really going to make a mess. So try to take and mock up your stuff first when you do your install. Dry fit everything. Then you know, I actually just took a Sharpie and put a mark here for my center, and this was the top, and I had the bottom, and blah blah blah. But however you guys take and proportion your time to take and do an install, I highly suggest you dry fit something before you permanently set it. And before you permanently set it, do not forget your friend, the ox guard, made by Gardner and Bender. Now, on the underside of this thing, I said I ran dual hots, and quite honestly, old Socks out there, not Pennsylvania Pimp, Skinny Pimp, he made a comment in the last video. I encouraged you to do that. No, you didn't. I did it many years ago when Muddy Water was around, and I was running back and forth with John Wheelis, so Sledgehammer out of Georgia. I did have a dual hot just like this on my system, and at the time I didn't understand. It's on here now. I understand a lot better. But boy, I tell you what, a dual hot system. Now, I don't have my analyzer with me. I wish I would, because if I were to hook it up, you guys would say, no, 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 do not key your stuff up into that, because it's going to show me I'm like at 40, 45, 46 ohms at a 1.2. That's just how it reads. And even if you got it perfect on the analyzer, it's not going to be a good tune. It'll get you in the ballpark on tuning your antennas. Now, when you take and analyze them, you can tune them up and this and that. If you were to hook up your gear, and let's say, for example, I have 4,000 watts I use. I'll have 50 watts reflect, or 40 watts just sitting still, or 30. Now it's okay. You shut off your big box, run your driver, and get them tuned down. You have to work the back a little bit, you have to work the front a little bit, and you'll understand as you're tuning it, you're power tuning it. So when you get your meter to go flat, now you know the driver's perfect. You can hit the big box, and now you can power tune even farther if you choose to. But an analyzer in a normal system, this is not normal, this is totally abnormal. A normal system, an analyzer will take and get you in the ballpark and make it for your equipment safe and seeing 50 ohms. That's the purpose of it. It only puts out 1/8 of a watt. I'm putting out 1,000,000 times more. I have 4,000 watts. So your system is going to load differently on your base station and your mobile. A lot of times guys do the base stations, they're not going up and down and power tuning. There's very few in the country that ever has done that. There's a few guys that still do that. It's a lot of work, and it's very time consuming and labor intensive when you start getting in some janky kind of, I'm getting on a ladder to tune my stuff on top of my roof. Be safe about what you guys are doing. Definitely we're losing radio operators. I just got a phone call the other day. With that said, I'm going to say condolences to Rodney. It was String Bean out of Connecticut. He had passed away. He had suffered a long-term fighting LAS, a disease. I think it's Lou Gehrig's disease. But going back to this, originally I had this in my back door, okay? And it was doing exactly what I needed it to do. I needed to make ground to my element or my antenna that was back here, because I was running a bounce back system. Well, I did utilize this. You can see I had a hole right here and a hole here. So when I took it, I had this up here on the other system, it went up and nailed one of those studs, and then it grounded out to the center. Okay, now when I originally put the dual hot in here, I stacked all my coax on here, knew what I had. But we went to Louisiana, we took the system out of here before we could do our bounce back. And to my surprise, when I came back and I had a lot of RF problems, the front coax got hooked up to a different stud, and these two were married together, and that was that. I had RF problems. So if something don't occur, sometimes you don't understand what happened. Well, the nice thing about what I did was I know everything about this truck, and it's one of those things, like I said, I posted, I kicked myself in my butt for not changing this mount a long time ago. But at the end of it, she's all together now, and she's running really well. Now, as far as the coax phase on this one, it's half a wavelength to this back puck, and then it's a quarter wavelength. You see it's 217, and it's going up to the front puck. Barely made it. But they tune out kind of odd. But when you get the dual hots running, they work really, really well. You have to power tune them, and they really take a little bit of effort. Your equipment should handle what's going on, especially if you get it in the ballpark. But I would say crawl before you get up and run. Now, going up front, I changed, didn't think that stood all the way. Going up front, I changed a few wires up under the hood. It's still pretty dirty. I haven't cleaned it yet. I had a lot of pollen this spring, and this is just from trucks sitting around. A lot of pollen in here. You see all the yellow pollen. But I had to change this wire. It went from this battery over here over to that battery, and then the factory connector that they had on here was just all peeled back and bad, so I just put a new lug on there. So I have this all done. Now I had put this wire in, and I put this cooling fan in for my radiator. I got it on Amazon. It's like 69 bucks. An incredible cooling fan, universal deal. But I put it on a quick disconnect, and because they had nice heavy wire to it, and you look at the wire, how small it is. And I couldn't figure out why this was burning up this wire. And then this is, 16 gauge Teflon is going to a 16 pin relay. Voltage should flow. But what happens when I wish I would have kept it. It was all burnt and just terrible. All right, and what it is a spade connection that goes on this thermostat control right here, and they were just pushed down there, so they were wiggling. They were a loose connection. So what's going to happen to loose connection? You're going to burn up some wire. So the positive was burning up, and I cut it all back and I put it all back together again, and I have not seen a problem yet. But you can see I took the time and I did some solder work. Now a lot of times when you solder against a nickel or something, you need to probably scratch it with some paper, something like that, and you can get that to get a good bond. Now, real quick, again, going back to these alternators, that's a dormant, and that's like a factory one, but that's a 4-inch. I had Danny Blue Ghost, he sent me all the 2 7/8 ones. They failed. I do not like the single bearing ones, guys. If you want something that's going to last you for longevity, get the dual bearing ones. Dorman actually makes dual bearing ones. You just have to figure out what part number you need, and you can put them in there. But there's other places you can buy them throughout the country. I took and I changed up, and I went back to my system that I know that works, and it's 100%, because I drove it all the way to Louisiana. I didn't have a problem until I had a problem on the backside of Atlanta, because I put the wrong grade bolt right there and it broke, and that was my fault. But after all of that happened, I put the other stuff on there, and it didn't last long, and it just flew off the truck, and thank God it didn't go through my radiator. Didn't want to spend another $300 on a radiator. All right, let's fire this thing up, man. Let's see a few watts come out of this thing. See how she runs. So when I run this thing, to turn on my system, there's no voltage to anything in my truck right now. I hit my inverter, turn it on. My radio and my driver will boot up. I'll turn the driver on too first, and you'll see it all boot up. There we go. Nice quiet receive. I'm running old school switchers in here, the LED ones, 30 amperes. And then this here is my voltage regulator. It runs my 3/400s under the hood. It runs my 24 pill. So real quick, this is a 5,000 watt slug. This is a 50 watt slug. And what you're going to see on my reflect, it's going to go up and it's going to back down. That is very normal for the HGs. I had seen Toshiba's doing, but the HGs are they do that. And definitely on a dual hot system. I had tried it again with the bounce back since I redid some stuff. But let's just look at my driver output power real quick and take a peek at that. So over here on this side, this is a 1,000 watt slug, and this is a 25 watt slug input between the two boxes. So let's take all right, here's the voltage. This is the voltage I'm running this radio. This is the voltage I'm running my driver at, 14.3. This is an R&R Dustin radio. Did a good job on it. They're still available. You can get them at Fat Boy Shop through Charger. IC Manufacturing. All right, here's the driver, 1,000 watt slug. Each line's 20. And we're looking at the driver audio 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Audio 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So about 420 using watts, and this is just passing through whatever. That'll change with dead key. So all this one I'll act real normal when I take and run my big box. All right, so I don't talk on the driver much. Let's look and see if we can see 400 watts here. Audio 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Now that 5,000 watt slug, so a little tighter. Let's see, that'd be 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, that's showing me about 500. I'm sorry. Audio, showing me a little closer to 5. And reflection. Audio 1, 2, 3, 4. Reflection audio. All right, so you see it kind of went forward with the driver. It won't when I hit my big box. All right, so I have to give it a little gas. Might get a little noisy in here. Let's just take a peek at everything. So right there, I got a carrier right about 1,000 watts. And with a 1,000 watt carrier, let's look at this. Audio. So the same 420 is going into it. So it's about 18 watts of transistor, 17 watts of transistor. So take 400 divided 24 times. Audio output, audio. There's 4 kilowatts. Audio. There's my reflection. Audio. That is exactly how it's supposed to work. Now, if you look at my voltmeters, the digital and the analog here, this is on my big box. And then you look at these, they're all really, really stable. Audio. So everything is very, very happy. She's not not dancing all over the place. The box is making plenty of power, and we have no DX. That's how it works. You get your stuff 100%, and then you don't have any DX. So to shut this thing down, I'll leave the box on. This is my remote switch. And then if I want to leave the driver on, I can, or I can cut it off. But my inverter has to stay on just where I can run my radio. If I hit that, shut it down, it kills all power to it, and I have no power to all any of my electronics. See, she just drains on down and she goes to sleep. So that said, thousands of dollars spent and no DX. That's just how it goes. But yeah, my ugly truck is finally, I'm very happy that I got it together. And a lot of people had anticipated to see me get this thing together for a long time, and I gotta say, I'm working on it and many other things. So I have I think I got to put my big system back up here, change this antenna system back over to bounce back, and I have to work with my antenna system pretty soon. I think the next break is Philadelphia. I think Bad Attitude and them are still going to have that one. I'm going to try to make it. I just got to find out what they're doing with the antennas. If they're just doing 2 hots, or I mean bounce back system 2 antennas, or if they're doing multi, I don't know. So I have to find out. It's in a pretty tight park over that way because they're pretty busy. It's just a public park that they're using. And Philadelphia is a busy place. I believe it's Franklin Park. It's where the Rocky statue is in Philly there, that big park there. It's really cool. So, all right, guys. Well, I got this together. It's not raining here in Jersey, and pretty happy. These are bitch sticks with different tips in them. I just didn't want to cut up my other tips, so I found some other material, and I left the thumb screws. I said I was going to put these up there temporary and leave them like that, and take them down, but I think I'm just going to leave them up there. They're working. They're talking good skip. I don't make enough power to arc it. You don't see I don't have static balls on my stuff. Yeah, if you put static balls on your stuff after you tune, you should probably check it again. So, all right, guys, I'm sliding out of here. Thanks for watching. Molly's not with me. She's hanging out with the little babies over at the shop, so I'm going to get out of here and go get some more productivity going on. I'm out. Y'all be good. God bless. Thanks for watching.